Good morning and welcome everyone to this panel. Today we're taking a look at the risks and rewards of unleashing AI and XR in the building industry. I'm very happy to say we've got an amazing panel. I'm just going to do a quick intro. My name is Jonathan. I am the AEC Community Manager at Autodesk, and I'm going to do a round table and just pass over if you can just do a quick intro to yourself, name, and a little bit about yourself.
Hi, thank you. My name is Jonathan as well. I'm from KPF, Kohn Pedersen Fox, and I'm a computational designer as well as a specialist in XR and AI.
Hi everyone, I'm Gary Cowan. I'm head of digital construction for Kane Group. We're an Ireland-based building services contractor, design and build, and I'm a building services design engineer at heart with 17 years experience in the construction industry.
And I'm Gabe Paez. I've been working in XR for over a decade. Now I'm the head of XR for the product team at Autodesk. Formerly, I was the founder of a company called The Wild that got acquired by Autodesk in 2022.
Hi, my name is Bruno Martorelli. I'm the design technology manager at C&W O'Brien, which is a local firm. And we've been working with innovative workflows for the last year, mostly in the Middle East. And yeah.
Hello, my name is Nayan Assaddin, BIM and Design Systems Coordinator at Classico Architects and Engineers. And I just finished my Master of Science in Building Information Management from the University of Portsmouth. Actually, yesterday I had the pleasure to present the outcomes of my Master's virtually, and I'm glad to be with you today. I hope you watched the recording yesterday and it's still available. I will be happy to answer any question. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Devon Mystery. I'm the Associate Director of BIM and Digital at McBain's, who are a multidisciplinary consultancy for design and construction based in London and in Greece.
Thank you, guys. I want to kick off and look at some of the basic terminology, because some people may not be fully aware of what all these terms. So I want to start with you, Gabe. Can you talk to me and describe a little bit about what XR, VR, and AR are from an Autodesk perspective and what you're doing in that space?
Yeah, so today we're talking about the convergence of a lot of different technologies and how they're really tightly woven and dependent on each other. So starting with XR, not just virtual reality, mixed reality, augmented reality, basically the whole spectrum of spatial computing, the idea that rather than going to a screen, we experience technology from a human point of view. So this is going to be a whole host of different types of wearables that can take place in everything from a conference room to the job site, but also artificial intelligence and machine learning, as was noted in your presentation. So really talking about how an XR experience interacted with bidirectionally with an AI could really create a pinnacle experience that is much more natural than how we interact with this technology today through a mouse and keyboard, but also more natural than we interact with AI today through directly training models, through interacting through chat interfaces with AI. If we can just speak naturally to the system and allow to execute commands for us, we truly are able to realize more of this personal assistant that we're after as we design and build.
Thank you. Something that I want to touch on is mixed reality. If I could go over to you, Devon, could you sort of describe your take on what and how mixed reality works?
Yeah, so in terms of mixed reality, I think the main concept behind it is that it's a real kind of intertwining element of the virtual environment and then the real environment. So you're kind of layering digital aspects, feel, touch, senses to the physical world. So it's kind of blurring those boundaries and bringing them together. And it kind of brings that human touch back into the reality that you're dealing with rather than just keeping it virtual.
Thank you. And something we've mentioned already this morning is AI. And if I could move over to you, Bruno. It's obviously a huge buzzword at the minute within the AEC industry. AI is mentioned everywhere. Could you sort of tell me how you sort of understand the potential of what you see in that and how you would work with that at CW O'Brien's?
Yeah, so AI for us is a great tool because it can process huge amounts of information that otherwise we wouldn't be able to manage. And specifically at our office, we're very concerned with the housing crisis in Ireland. And we think that AI might bring a solution to that, because if we leverage AI to deliver and shorten the gap between design and delivery of housing in general, we might be able to assist in solving a real problem, in this case, the housing crisis. So yes, we're busy with the Middle East, but at the same time, we're looking at the local market a lot and developing tools to assist in solving that specific problem.
Excellent. I sort of want to change tact a little bit and start looking at the use cases of this technology. And it's sort of an open question, so whoever wants to sort of jump in, looking at where do you think you can find the use cases for this technology? So if anyone just wants to grab a mic and...
Well, we're seeing current day present use cases in the industry at the moment. You know, we at Kane have sort of implemented VR at a very early stage in 2018 and implemented it very successfully on a number of projects that sort of give us a unique insight into the models and a different perspective of checking the models and looking at them from a sort of first-person perspective and disseminating the models basically from the inside out. You catch a lot more problems, you catch a lot more errors, and it's much more collaborative to be able to work with people, and it opens up the possibility of working remotely as well. You know, you can be in the model no matter where you are in the world. I'm working with different design offices across the globe. You know, it opens up a real possibility of collaborative working as well.
Anyone else got any take on that? Do you want to?
Sorry, I didn't hear.
On how you would find use cases for using this technology?
Oh, the AI technology. Actually, the missing part that it's not very famous is how to use the AI in the BIM modeling. Using, for example, if you want to model a city in a city scale, you can use the satellite imaging to convert those images into city information models. And actually, Singapore, for example, is converted in that way. Yeah.
Thank you. I sort of wanted to look and probably go a little bit controversial and look at the common risks and look and talk a little bit about that side of things. So I guess an open question to everyone here is a common sort of complaint about these technologies possibly is that it's a solution in search of a problem.
Actually, it has, we need to look at it from a legal point of view, since actually sometimes the security of people, the security of information related to people is affected, especially when sharing information from housing, for example, digital twins, to city digital twins, and then to the open platforms. So.
Gabe?
This is definitely a case of with great power comes great responsibility. This technology is game-changing in many ways and moving incredibly quickly, but that sort of velocity carries challenges and risks along with it. Information security is one of those, of course, but you know, what's the first case of missing something, like an AI generating some attribute of a BIM model and missing that through the process, and then having some issue on site later, some safety concern or structural issue. So these are definitely challenges and things that we need to mitigate against. You're seeing similar things happening with autonomous vehicles right now. You know, the safety concerns there as humans sort of adapt to this idea of machine learning models making decisions for us. And then, of course, there's the XR angle, this idea of understanding what it's like to work in a headset all day, what it's like to interact with other people at great distances virtually. You know, I believe there's incredible power to this. It's going to be able to unite and connect us across cultures and languages in a way that we are unable to right now, or at least prohibited from physically. And so that is the promise, and yet we have to use it responsibly and understand how we can mitigate risk factors as we move very rapidly to deploy these solutions.
Okay, so I just wanted to pick up on something you mentioned there, and it's what are the human barriers that we have with this technology? You sort of mentioned a little bit on headsets. I'm just wondering if anyone else has any insight into, you know, what barriers we actually face with XR.
I think, as I mentioned earlier, one of the main issues is to deal with the natural, you know, we are just human beings at the end of the day. We respond to our surrounding. I talked about motion sickness, which is one of the main issues with any headsets, really, but VR in particular. So as the quality of those headsets evolves in resolution, in frame rates, and also with the you know, AR capability whereby you actually see the real world, this will eventually fade away. So very much looking forward to that. But at the moment, that would be one of the main barriers.
Yes, please. I want to add a point. Actually, it's going beyond the human capabilities if we take a look on the human digital twins. So when we are talking about digital twins, we can digital twin any object, any being on Earth. So actually, with this, we can cross the limitations of a human body. So this is a point maybe we have to look at, and also from a legal point of view for the future.
Thank you. I want to start looking at, as we close the session, looking at some of the practical applications of where we can actually go with this. So basically an open question, how can XR and AI help?
Well, in our office, we have worked with cave environments, which are basically immersive environments where several stakeholders of the project can participate and interact with the model in real time, making decisions like moving walls or changing materials or changing configuration. And that information is reported back through the model back to Revit and updated in real time, which is, that's the way we're using it. And we're hoping that when the headset technology improves, like the Apple Vision Pro or the Quest 3 gets released, we will be able to use that as well.
Please. Actually, the key, but in all presentations, is the interoperability, if we can look at it. I believe that if the future is integrating all softwares, all platforms, with the open format to have a one potential tool. For example, we have the Omniverse in NVIDIA, which is capable to link different models, not limited to BIM softwares. And also we can use, for example, SketchUp and others. We also have technologies like the city digital twinning. So, for example, in the future, people will be capable to design within a live replicated context. So the key of the using the applications is interoperability, I believe.
Okay, so another question is, how can VR and XR change the way we work?
Certainly in Kane, when we introduced the VR system, it really did revolutionize the consumption of our digital data. Previously, any review of the 3D models was done on a 2D screen, and certainly took one of our Revit technicians off the floor for a period of time with a downturn in production. So it really opened up a new avenue for us for model consumption and review in a natural format for the senior team who weren't Revit professionals, weren't computer literate, really came from the sites, came from the tools, and it was a natural feeling for them to be able to slip on a headset and be standing directly in the site, almost as if they were back on the tools again. So it revolutionized that for us, and it was a game changer for us, and it was rolled out almost immediately to every project that we're involved in, regardless of the industry that it's in, you know.
Anyone else want to jump in, Gabe?
I just want to add that I think the real goal here is to ultimately make BIM more accessible. Right now, I mean, we've done a lot to make it more connected. There's huge efforts to make it cloud connected. But is it truly accessible in the sense that anyone without any technical expertise can go in and understand, you know, the material of a wall or even a length inside of a space? This takes still, there's a barrier to just doing these very basic things. And XR as an interface is much more natural than interacting with these, you know, advanced tools that we use every day in this industry. And so I think this is one of the real benefits that will change the way we work. Another is, of course, being able to connect anyone from anywhere and the remote collaboration aspect of it, and all of those people having agency inside of the space and accessibility. But of course, the third one, I think, and maybe the most important one, is just our mutual understanding of what we're building. So much still gets lost in very early phases because we're looking at things through fixed points of view. And to be able to just stand inside of the building in its final form, walk through it, and understand it in the way that we understand all spaces is incredibly powerful in terms of our spatial perception and mutual understanding of what we're actually trying to build.
And Devon, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, just lastly, I'd like to add, I agree with Gabe there. So we've adopted the Wild, actually, for about 2 years now. We've deployed it on about 2 or 3 projects which are government-led. And government projects, as you all might know, are notoriously slow in terms of their program. So what we've noticed is one of the key benefits has been the speed of the time you get from design to on-site has dramatically increased. So that value is there in terms of those decision-making and accelerates that process, which we found very beneficial.
Thank you, guys. We're coming close to the end, so I want to open it out to the floor. If anyone has any questions, the panel would be more than happy to help. So just raise your hand. We can run a mic down to you if anyone has any questions. All very quiet today. Okay.
A question to Bruno. What are the first steps you would advise for someone that is a newbie on the AI environment? Something that we should start looking at to become more familiar with it?
Yeah. Look, ChatGPT is a great tool, even for learning. So that's always a great resource just to even just ask ChatGPT that question and see what comes out. But the fact is, it's a bit, yeah. I would probably recommend looking at how the AI workbench from NVIDIA works. I haven't looked at it, but it looks very promising, and it's a new platform. So if you're going to start delving into it, that's probably the easiest. I used to use Google Collaborate, and it was just complicated. So I will look at those tools, and you'll probably need a bit of Python, which is not a complicated language. It's also, there's plenty of courses in YouTube. You don't need any difficult, you don't need to pay for it. It's probably free. And yeah, so start with that and yeah, get going, get your feet in, and you'll see it's not hard. Yeah.
I think you actually make a really good point where at this point you also have to look at the state of the technology and what it's good at and what it's not good at this point. And what AI right now in 2023 is actually pretty good at is teaching. And like in a nuanced way. You could always go into a search engine and type like, how do I do something, and get an article, but we are all, more complex than that. We're more nuanced. You know some things and not other things, and so you can actually customize your approach to learning through AI in a way that's really magical and interesting. I know this, and I want to know this. Help me.
Sorry, just to elaborate on this, I have to work on data centers. I started working on data centers recently, and I didn't know much about it. So I asked ChatGPT, can you give me a course, a breakdown course, to learn everything about data centers that as an architect I need to know? And it gave me a very good outline that I could use and research, elaborate on those points. But it was a good resume, if you want to become an expert in this case, in data centers.
Yeah, just a question for the gentleman from Kane. Sorry, I didn't catch your name in the beginning. But you mentioned augmented reality softwares that you use for third-party model consumption that makes life a little bit easier in the industry. Now, I just wondered if you could be a little bit more specific, because I've come across some softwares that are quite limited in their capabilities. So, i.e., you might be able to get a small area of your model onto a drawing and a QR code, and you'd be able to look at that isolated area. I just wondered if you could mention perhaps any other that were maybe more extensive in their capabilities for model viewing.
Yeah, certainly. We're actually very early in the development of AR within Kane. We've trialed a number of softwares over the last couple of years there. certainly was started with Trimble and their XR10 platform, was very, very good, but the initial results for us was that it physically wasn't capable of rendering our models. Our models are far too data-rich, far too many vertices. So it opens up a new workflow for us for having to almost dumb down our models to be able to use this. And for my own experience in that time, maybe 2 years ago, was that the technology really wasn't quite ready for us and our company, and we had to wait for a bit more processing power and things like that. But we've recently opened a dialogue with Gamma AR, and we're looking at their technology at the moment. We're going to be doing a project trial with them in the next few weeks. As time moves on and as things goes on, the processing power is getting better. We're facing the same issues that you're finding, but we're having to segment our models down to very small sizes, and when we're working on very large-scale schemes, it introduces quite a large workflow to our team to be able to section down the models, and it's risk versus reward for us at the moment. Are we getting enough from the technology to warrant the extra work involved in producing the content? It's at the moment, it's still very exploratory for us, but I do see it in projecting forwards in 5 years, 10 years. It will be an industry standard. It will be a staple. I think the idea is a lot more current than the technology and the ability, but it's changing by the day, certainly is.
It also depends what you want to do with AR. If it's something you do on-site, then obviously you have to go through a specific route. If it's just about experimenting with AR in-house, things like Unreal and Omniverse are a very good point to start. It's a steep learning curve, but with the right gear, you can absolutely do it.
Thank you very much, guys. We're at time. I just want to say a big thank you to everyone on the panel. Thank you for doing and giving all your insights, and that would be it. Thank you very much.
Hey.